Hello and welcome to Penelope's Pocket. This is an anniversary episode because it's about a year since I put up my first episode, my first video here on YouTube. And I think I said last time, it was my whip parade last time, that I had in mind to do something special. Well, it's a special bag release. To commemorate, to celebrate the fact that I'm still here, still videoing after a whole year, and how far I've progressed. I've progressed massively in my technical abilities. Look, we are in the right orientation. That very first one that I put out, I had no idea. I just used my camera as I would if I was out and about, resulting in a very small thin image of me in that first one, and also in my old intro, because you will have seen there is a new intro that was also filmed in the wrong orientation and had my friend Una barking away in the background. I was fed up with that, so I thought after a year I'll revamp it and I'll do something different. And what I've used sort of, I had an episode around Christmas time where you could hear the bells ringing outside, and people seemed to quite like that. So they were ringing the other day, and I quickly ran out with my phone and snapped a few pictures of the church. I think I've stuck one of them on there so you can get an idea of where the sound is coming from, and took some audio of the bell ringers. And I've also changed my image for the episode. And that is a detail of one of my very favourite finishes, sampler finishes, and that is Margaret Howell's from the Scarlet House. I meant to take it off the wall and bring it in with me today to show you, but I have a feeling this is going to be quite a long episode. It's actually been 5 weeks since my last episode. I said at the time it was going to be 4 weeks, but I had forgotten that 4-week period, that was my dad's birthday last weekend, and so Isabel and I went and spent a few days with my mum and dad, and that crossed over the weekend period as well. We had a lovely time. Steve is busy here. We've got building works still going on, and with work as well, and I wanted to go for a few days, not just a day. And oh gosh, the old runny nose again. And Penelope was working, so Isabel and I went. We had a lovely time. Spent some time with my mum out and about, and a birthday lunch with my dad and my brother. Yeah, so it was a really nice break, and it was lovely to see them. So that's delayed things another week. So yeah, 5 weeks. Don't normally leave it 5 weeks between episodes. So, yeah, a year. I've come a long way technically. I can edit now, and I'm independent. I used to have to wait for Penelope to come before I could upload my videos. I'm independent now, so I've learnt a lot. And I've come a long way on my health journey as well. In the last episode, still wasn't feeling that great after a virus I got at New Year. I would say I'm fully recovered from that now. I'm feeling really quite good. It's just going to take me a while to recover from things. I will be permanently on some form of chemotherapy, permanently, and that affects your immune system. Just need to be careful not to catch things, basically, because if I do, they knock me out. But that's fine. That's the way it is. I must talk a bit about the weather because I'm British. It's been absolutely dire. We've had rain. I know people joke about the British weather, but it isn't normally like that, and it has just not stopped raining. Super conscious of it because, I don't know, it stopped me from being able to go out. I would like to go out walking every day, but it's just rain, and also it's put all of our building works massively behind because they can't do stuff in the rain. It's just washing the mortar out of the brickwork. So yeah, a lot of rain. Today we've had a couple of sunny days. Today started off overcast, and it takes quite a while to set up a Flosstube episode, and so I got all set up and ready to start filming, and I pressed that record button and the sun came out. And I don't want to wish the sun away, but it is not ideal for filming. So I hung around and waited for a few minutes or so, and then I thought I'm just going to have to relocate. So I had to get all my stuff and relocate to the back of the room here, and then we won't be affected by the sun as much. That's just the way it is, isn't it? I'm not going to wish the sun away. It's glorious out there. Black clouds, but when the sun comes out, just look, I'm smiling. It really perks you up, doesn't it, to have a bit of sunshine. So, I haven't said who I am if you're new. My name is Sarah. Penelope's Pocket is my bag making business, and the name I gave this channel. I'll link to my website and both my Instagram accounts below. Have I covered everything? Today is Saturday the 28th of February. Did I say that? Because I've changed my intro, I'm going to include that in the intro, so I won't have to remember to say that bit in the future going forwards. I think that's enough of that, isn't it? Enough waffle. What am I wearing? I am wearing my finished Anchors cardigan, a pattern by Petite Knit, which is gaping a bit. It doesn't actually gape. Well, look at that, all gaping there. I've talked about it because it's been an ongoing project over the past few episodes. I used Directrum Natura Ulysses, a yarn I've not used before. Really liked it. Very, it's woolen spun, meaning it's got quite a lot of air in the fibres, so it's warm but light. I hope it's going to wear well and not pill. I have worn it quite a bit actually. It's a really lovely pattern. I've made it before. It's knit from the top down, but backwards and forwards, because yeah, otherwise if it was knit in the round, you'd have to steek it, so you don't. So when it was finished, I just needed to thread in or sew in, weave in the cast on and the cast off at the bottom, and obviously the cast off for the cuffs. And sometimes there's a little hole that you get under the arm when you pick up stitches for the sleeve. I just did a bit of weaving in of the thread there to conceal the hole. The button bands were knit as you completed and started each row, hence they're not very structural. So this is a cardigan. I have made it before. The other one does the same thing. I've seen images of people wearing it. They all do the same thing. It's quite a small integral button band, so it doesn't have structure, and so it does do a bit of that. That's fine. I love the colour, and I found some buttons in Grandma's button box. It took 2, 4, 6, 8 buttons. I actually found 12 of these buttons. I think that they look like they're from the 1940s and they're made of glass. So a couple of them were chipped, so I didn't use those because I had more than I needed. But I thought it was quite a nice match. I really just wanted to use them. They're perhaps a little heavy, so if I undo the top 2 buttons, which is how I wear the other one, it falls open a bit because of the weight of the button, but it's quite nice buttoned up, and it's a bit of my grandma with me. I wore it when I went down to my parents at the weekend, and I asked my mum about them, and she says she remembers them being on one of my grandma's dresses. So that's nice to use those. So that's what I'm wearing. I've got a cup of tea in a mug from, well, it was a gift from a really close friend, and it's by the company Anthropology. I'm just wiping my lipstick off the other side because I've been drinking it. It's a really lovely one, and I picked it today because I'm sorry, I think this is going to be a long episode, and this shape keeps the tea warmer. It's an Earl Grey. I only drink Earl Grey tea. I actually have never liked tea until the last 5 years or so, and the only tea I do like is Earl Grey, and I completely understand that proper tea drinkers don't really like Earl Grey because it's not really light tea, which is probably why I like it. Oh yeah, I should just say actually, I posted a picture of this cardigan on Instagram. I had so many lovely comments. Thank you so much to everybody who did send me a lovely comment about it, and I had quite a lot of comments about my skirt. And so I thought I'd give you it's a wraparound. It's from the English company Toast. I like their clothes, I like their aesthetic, but I love the way they're made. They're made so well, and when you are a sewer and you could make it yourself, I like to buy something that I think, yeah, I can see that's been really well made, or uses a really nice fabric. And this is a really lovely fabric. It's a weave, it's quite a thick cotton weave. So this is a different colour warp and weft basically here to create this, but then this has been dyed over the top. I bought it quite a while ago and hadn't worn it, and I saw it hanging in the wardrobe and I thought, oh, that blue is like, yeah, really nice. I'm so pleased with it. But they're this is not an advert for Toast, but their things are beautifully made, and you can see the mitering in the corner at the bottom of the skirt and everything is lovely. So thank you to everyone who commented on my post on Instagram. Right, what's in the bag? So it's been 5 weeks, so there's quite a lot in the bag, because this is everything that I've worked on in the past 5 weeks. And we'll start off with some knitting. I cast this off not long after my whip parade. I think I had nearly finished it. I had enough yarn. If you've been following along with my journey and you know that I was a bit worried about not having enough yarn, it was fine. And there wasn't very much left over, but it's perfectly long enough. You will have seen that if you've seen the Instagram post. So that was a result, because I had enough yarn and there's very little wastage, which I also really like. And I had a new cast on immediately afterwards. So in this bag, this is a Isabel bag made of an old camphor quilt. I think I've got a couple on the website. This one is very slightly bigger than my usual size, and I will do that sometimes because I did make a couple of these. I sold the other one. It's the same depth, but it's a couple of inches wider. I think it just depends on how the quilts work out as to, you know, how big I can make them. So it's quite a big project in here. It's another petite knit. I don't have the pattern because it's not a paper copy, it's a PDF download from Ravelry. Petite knit, no, this is the Angus cardigan, key cardigan. And I've done quite a lot. Stopped mid-row. So it is, again, it's not steeked, it's not knit round and round, it's backwards and forwards. So that's where I am. I had a thing about this colour red and brown together. A lot of the examples that I've seen of other people knitting, there's a bigger contrast, so it would be like, I don't know, red and white or cream. So yeah, but I wanted this look. So it cast on. It's got really nice. Look how the increases for the sleeve fit in with the pattern, front and back. Nice. So I got to the dividing of the sleeves, and then I did the body, and I'm working on the rib. I've said before about my body shape, I've got quite a short body. I don't like long. They just stop at the wrong point in my body. So it is slightly cropped. It looks very cropped there. That's because it's got a lot of positive ease, whereas this one is quite fitted. This has got a lot of positive ease. It has a very big rib on the bottom, so I don't think I'm even halfway through the rib yet. It'll be about the same length as this one. I have tried it on and it seems to be fine. Now there's a story behind this. I am knitting this in Jameson's Shetland yarn. There's a band. It says, no, it's not Jameson's, it's Jameson and Smith. And they're similar. They're both Shetland yarn producers, but not the same. It's a different company. So this one is Jameson and Smith. And I'm knitting it in, obviously, a red and a brown. And it's not the right weight. This is jumper weight. Is it 4-ply jumper weight? So it's thin yarn. And I think this is knit in Aran weight. So I am holding it with a strand of, this is drops. What is it called? Drops what? Kid silk. So in the red and in the brown. Good matches. So maybe about a double knit. So I did a gauge swatch or tension square. And I did my maths, and I know my chest measurement, and I knew the recommended positive ease, because I like the way it looks in the pattern, the way she wears it. It's quite a relaxed fit, you know, it's quite a bit of positive ease. And so I worked out that I needed to make, wait for it, the 4XL size. So I am at the moment a UK size 12, but I am knitting the 4XL size of the pattern to get it to fit me, bearing in mind that I am not using an Aran weight yarn, which is I think what the pattern calls for. I'm using more of a double knit yarn. You can mess around with gauge and yarn. It's a question of getting the maths right, and I've tried it on. It is, yeah, I did my maths right. It's going to be fine. And does that mean, I think I might have put, if you were interested and you looked at the pattern, you can tell this, there might be one less stripe in what would be my size if I'd knitted it in the correct yarn. So yeah, quite a lot more ribbing to do. It has got a deep, very deep bottom rib, and the sleeves are quite balloony. I like a balloon sleeve, as you know if you've been watching me. So there'll be quite a bit of knitting in the sleeves, and I was on a roll with it for quite a while, thinking, you know, I'll get this done and I'll be able to wear it this year. But oh, I don't know. I mean, it can snow in March, so you know, maybe I will wear it this year. I tend to only, I've said it many times, I know, repeat myself, tend to only have one knitting project on the go, because, you know, like with something like this, I'm messing around with the gauge. I don't want to forget the pattern, where I am, why I made the decisions I made. I just need to, you know, I had to finish this before I could cast this on, and I will finish this before I start anything else. So I'll get back to that. I haven't done any of that for a while, but I'll get back to that now. So that's the knitting. That is the only knitting that I've been doing. Now, before I hit the big bag, when I went down to Mum and Dad's, I took this one. So this is, if you recognise the bag, this is my Gertrude bag that houses my carpet python. So I took him with me because I don't need magnification, I don't need extra light, you know, I don't need a stitching setup. So he's a good one to take when I go to Mum and Dad's. And this is the first time I've worked on him since I last went down there. So I made a bit of progress. My carpet python is from this book, Needlework Animals by Elizabeth Bradley. I've made other things from this book. I will do a needlepoint episode one day, and I'll show you some of my other needlepoint that I've done in the past. But here is my carpet python, and I have, do you remember I've cut him, basically. I've cut him down to size. So I have cut my piece of canvas so that he's a lot more easy to work on now. And this is where I am with him. Does he all fit in? He does all fit in. So obviously this is his head, this is his tail, that's as deep as he will be. I am filling in the colours. There are two. I'm not using the Elizabeth Bradley wools. I've spoken about this before. They were a bit pricey, so this is a DMC. In fact, I'll show you in this Isabel bag, which is the usual size for an Isabel bag. This is where I'm keeping my wools for him, and I am using these DMC wools. And the book has a conversion to both DMC and Appleton's, but the DMC, I think it was on special offer when I bought it, that's why I bought those. It's an old book, and some of the numbers that they gave for the conversion didn't seem to be available anymore, so I had to, if I'd gone into a shop it would have been easy, wouldn't it? But I did it all online, so it's not really visible. These are two different colour yellows. That's a third colour yellow. This is more obvious in real life actually. And there are a couple of browns. That's the first tanny coloured brown going in, and there's another one that goes at the top. But he's good, isn't he? His tail is almost done. So I've got a bit more. And then when I finish that, I have to do it all over again for the other side. If you've not seen him before, he is a draft excluder. So I do it once and then I do him again, and there is a slight difference in the pattern actually. So he's got different markings on the front to the back, and then I will make him into a draft excluder. So that's my carpet python, and he had a few days work at Mum and Dad's. Right, now for the big bag. So this is, I got my white Gertrude bag out that I talk about probably in my second episode, because Steve and I had a weekend away before my cancer treatment started last year, and went to Charleston Farmhouse, home of the Bloomsbury group, and I wanted a souvenir, and so I bought this fabric that was designed by Vanessa Bell, and made this one, and there was one other that was out there as well. It's out there, I think it's in New York somewhere. So I got it out because it's been a year since I went and I made it. So it's full, pretty chock-a-block full. I just put everything in there that I've been working on. The tassel bits, and let's go through. So I will try and have a semblance of order. Let's pull this one out first. So in here is Margaret Liggett-Wood by Fox and Rabbit, and this was my focus piece. Hark at me. I decided that I would work on, for January, February, March, I had in mind at the beginning of the year 3 big samplers, or big for me samplers, that I would focus on to try and really get some stitches in, because I would like to finish this sampler this year. It was my New Year's Day start, and so rather than have a New Year's Day start that gets finished several years later, I wanted a New Year's Day start that was going to be finished this year. So here she is. I showed her last time, but it was January last time I filmed, and so I continued working on her until the end of January. I have no idea how much I had done last time you saw it, but really enjoyed, or am enjoying, haven't worked on her now for a while, choosing my colours, because I'm not using the called for threads. So I've got a little bit of over one in. Ooh, it's got a bit dark. I jump between doing a bit on the house and then doing a bit of the top bit. There's a mistake which I talked about last time. I'm a row out. I might not put the box around the wording at the top, but I made a start on the wording. I get close for the colours. Having bigged up my technical ability, that is showing in reverse to me, and I thought I'd press something on my phone that meant it wasn't showing in reverse, but I'm going to have to do that after filming now. Dear. Careful what you say. So that's where I am with Margaret. I am using partly a conversion given by Katie Strachan on one of her Flosstube videos, but also I'm now using, I've become very bold and I'm now using some of my own colours as well, and keeping them in my holders that I made. Remember when I showed this? What a disaster, till somebody, two ladies actually, gave me some advice on how to make it work. So it was Roz and another lady as well that said, you just need to put some stitches down through there, Sarah, and it'll all work well. And you know, it does, it works brilliantly. They don't fall out, and yet they are easy to put in and out. And it works so well that I made another one. So all my greeny sort of colours are in this one, and my other colours in this one. Actually, you can see this is the same as the bag that my key cardigan is in, and that's what the other side of that quilt was like. It's completely different. Actually, I think I do have one of those, a bag made out of that side on the website. Yeah, so 100 threes, which I've not used in a project before, and some Gobelin, I think. Is it Gobelin, the slightly thicker one? Some of those are in there as well. I bought a black but switched it for a very, very dark brown, not quite as harsh. Very little in it actually, but it does make a difference, just that shade lighter, not quite so harsh. So yeah, that's Margaret. I haven't worked on her this month, so that's a whole month, isn't it? So I haven't seen her for a while. And I don't plan to work on her next month either, but I will pick her up because I would like that to be a finished. I'll show you the cover. You can see how much I've got left to do. Oh, I think I can do it. Well, I know I can do it. I'll finish her this year. So that's Margaret. Oh yes. So my whip parade was good for me, and I have put some stitches into things that were in that parade that I haven't really thought about for a long time, and I thought, come on Sarah, you can finish that. And this is one of them. This is a drum from Praiseworthy Stitches. I bought this as a kit. Was it? I don't think it can have been last year, maybe it was the year before. Has it got the year on it? Probably doesn't really matter, does it? And I have done some more on this. So I had already done the top, and I had done quite a bit of the threads hanging here of the drum itself, but I had stopped. And the reason I had stopped, I think I did say in the whip parade, was because I'm not going to have enough thread for this project. And when I picked it up again, I looked really carefully. Is that you, Una? Something fell. I looked really carefully at the instructions and at the chart, and it definitely says 2/2. and that is what I'm doing. 2 threads over 2 strands. So I don't understand kits. I don't do very many kits, but usually get plenty of thread. I don't know why I haven't got enough, but I have not got enough red. There is supposed to be a star motif in here, like this one here, in red. I think I've got just about enough red left to finish this, and the other half of that goes in here. So I do not have enough red thread to put the motif in there. And there's another red thing somewhere. I haven't got enough. It's a bit annoying, really. I've got barely enough green. I'm just finishing off this bit here. I've got to finish this. I decided that really needed to be green because it's like a leaf type motif. I think I've got just about enough green to finish off this outer Quaker medallion thingy and this, and then I've only got yellow left. So it requires a bit of thought, doesn't it? And is really annoying. I noticed on the Nashville pre-order there was a needle and pins book in what looked like the same colours and the same style, and it crossed my mind, oh, wouldn't that be nice to have the set? But I thought, well, no, I don't want to do that actually, because it's not been good not having enough thread, and I don't know what the threads are. I don't think it says, does it? Oh, it does actually say what the threads are. So maybe I might have those. So yeah, but still I haven't got enough, so that requires some thought. Okay, and in the same line I got out this Kathy Barrick Cooper. I can't show you the chart because I bought it as a PDF, so I don't have a copy of the chart. And this was a 1 thread start from years ago. Stitchy Rach had it was a birthday start, do a Kathy Barrick, or I can't remember what it was. I've chatted with Rachel about it since. Rachel, I've put in another thread or 2. You can't see them. Yeah, you can see them. Is that the right way up? Yeah, that's his tail. They look a bit lost here, but these motifs are backed with the tail colour coming up here. I had said in the Whip Parade that I actually really like stitching with NPIs, and I was going to upgrade it to NPIs because, as far as I know, all of Kathy Barrick's charts are NPI or DMC. There are no NPIs for this. It's only DMC. So I have no choice. It's DMC all the way. But this is Picture This Plus Murky. I think he's going to look fab on this. I don't know why I chose this, but I think he will look really good. It's a great piece of fabric, showing really well there. So yes, Whip Parade result. I did put another thread in, and he is going to stay out. These are the colours. Not very well organised, Sarah. But yeah, I will continue with DMC. Let's talk about this one next. I have put some work into this. Now I'm feeling really bad about this because inside this bag is a chart that I have been most kindly and generously lent. It is, what's it called? It's called A Daily Reminder Sampler by Brenda Gervais. Where's the front cover? It's this one. And I've been lent this by Alison. Alison, if you're watching me, I truly appreciate you lending me this chart, and I'm beginning to feel a bit bad that I haven't got it back to you. I know you said there was no rush, but I went cracking at this when I first got it, because I've used all my own colours, done my own conversion, and then I slowed right down, and I really need to get it back to you. I will get it back to you. I have been working on it. Try and be very careful with the chart. There. So somebody asked me after my whip parade, what colour was this fabric? I don't know. I won this in a giveaway from Katie Strachan. All I know about it is it's mason linen, but I'm afraid I don't know the name of the colour. But this is it, and this is where I am. Ooh, I'm always apologising about the light, sorry about that. These are my own colours. There is an episode out there somewhere where I talk about the inspiration that was behind my choice of colours. And yeah, this is where I am. So I have, since you last saw it, put this motif in here. Have I finished it? Yes, I have finished it. So a bit closer, you can see a bit better. I have decided on the colour for the door. The front door is the same colour as the roof, which is the purpley colour in the centre of the flowers here. I haven't finished it because I've got to that point where I want to get the chart back to Alison. I thought I don't need to finish that door. I was worried that this was the only blue, and so I gave the kitchen windows, are they the kitchen windows? Let's say they're the kitchen windows here, blue curtains. So all of the curtains in the house are this colour, apart from these two down here which are blue, which I was thinking tied that in, and then I got really carried away and thought, oh, I'll make it look like there's a light on inside, and I put the goldy yellow colour to make it look like there was a glowing light inside. I don't know what came over me, and I don't even know if I like it or not. And then I was contemplating taking it out, and then again I thought, no Sarah, you don't need to take it out, you just need to get the chart finished. You can do that afterwards. So Alison, one of the reasons that I've been slow is that I have broken my magnifying thing that I use, and I need magnification for this. Not for simple things like the door, and actually that flower basket was okay as well. I could do that without magnification. But because the sawtooth border is over 1, you can see I started, and I just couldn't, I can't see it. I can't see it without a magnifying glass. And the same with these letters. I have started, the needle's in the back. I started this letter here, and again, because of the stitch, I forget what that stitch is called, but it's not a normal cross stitch. I can't see the threads with just using my glasses. I need to get another magnifying mirror. But I have just got the rest of the alphabet, the rest of the sawtooth border, which I can do without the chart, not the alphabet, but border, and there's some wording here, be good and do good, I think it says. And then it's done, and I will get this finished. This will be a finish imminently when I've sorted out my magnification. There. So I have done some work on that. There we go. What's in here? Oh, this is a plan. If you're new here, you've made it this far, thanks very much, well done. It's a bit jumbled sometimes, but it's just the way that my mind works, and this is in here and it's a plan, and I will talk about it very quickly because it'd be nice if other people joined in as well. Ros Clark. Oh Ros, what is the name of your Flosstube channel? It'll come to me in a minute. Can't think. Anyway, Ros is very creative, and she is hosting or doing a stitch along where it's going to be quite a big one, I think. Every week she releases a free chart. You need to, I'll link her below. You can check out her YouTube and you can check out her Instagram, and there are links to how to get the charts and things. I have got them all lined up from the past few weeks. I haven't started any of them, but it's a really great idea, and she is doing like a quilty, is she calling it stitch quilt or Roz? I should have done my research so I could talk about it more knowledgeably. Anyway, scraps of linen, odd threads, charts that she's putting out, which are it's an alphabet stitch, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You need to go and check it out, and I'll just show you this. So this is my bag for it, Roz. I'm getting there. I have found scraps of linen. Most of these are 36 count, I think. And I thought, because I think I'm probably going to do it as one. I'm not sure about the yellow one actually. Let's take that one out because I might not need that. I think I'm going to make a quilt out of it. You know, big sun. So these are my scraps that I thought all worked well together. And I've also got my threads. I'll explain it a bit better as we go through. So these are my threads. I've got a couple more to add to them, a couple of blues. Now, interestingly, I have said before, I find these thread keeps really useful because I know with that kitty there that this has come from my Pinebury Lane Christmas bag. That's what this bag is. These are Laurie Holt's colours for Pinebury Lane stitching, and I can see from the charts that Roz has already put out that I need some blues, and I've got some blues that I've ordered that will go with these colours. So I've just picked up that bag thinking those are the colours that I'll use. Roz is putting out a chart every week. I think we've got A for apple, I know D is for dandelion, E is for earth, C is for colours. What was B? Must be B. B is for bee. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe it's not. You need to watch Roz's videos. She recommends purchasing some of these in the UK. I can't remember what they're called. I can't remember where I got them from, but it was the place that Roz recommended, and so I've bought a packet of these. You do your design on here. I mean, Roz says you need a 5-inch square, but ultimately it needs to fit on there. So I know that I can stitch something, if I can get the light right, I can stitch the design on here and it will go on there. So you do your stitching, it goes on there, so you have that as your stitched piece, and then you can use any sort of quilting cotton, tarn lawn, whatever, that you do need a bigger piece of, that will go on the back and then folds over, creating a border here that you fold and stitch down, and then you've got a quilt piece sort of ready finished. So it's got a back and it's got your stitched front, and then ultimately I can see myself a bit like, piecing them all together, and maybe having some fabric ones in between and making a alphabet quilt, smallish one, but that's what I'm seeing. And I haven't done one yet, so, but it's a plan. It's been a bit of looking for fabrics, thinking about threads. Stitchy Rach is doing it. She's got a fab way of using up threads from kits. She calls it a thread mess, and it was a mess, Rachel. I wouldn't want to have to sort that out. Using them in this way is a brilliant idea. So all the leftover threads if you get leftover threads from kits, because I haven't got enough thread in my kit, she's just pulling from that. So yeah, I'm excited about starting that, and I will definitely have one of those to show you next time. 3 weeks time, I'll definitely have an A for apple, if not a B for, is it B? I don't know. Anyway, Ros Clark Crafts. Oh, where did that just come from? Yes, I'll link her below and you can go and check out her video, and it's free for a while, and then it'll go on her Etsy shop. So yeah, join in, it would be lovely. Actually, one lady on Instagram, who is obviously a quilter, I am not a quilter, has taken Ros's hexagon and put you know, like proper pieced quilting bits around it to make a square block with the hexagon of the cross stitching in the middle. Gosh, they look really good. That's way beyond my ability, but there's if you're a quilter, and I know that there are quilters that watch me, it's such a fab idea. Ros, very talented, very creative. So that's the plan really, but in the bag. What's in here? Ah, this is a finish. And I finished it last night, which is why it's still in the bag. This is my spring stitching bag. This is one from a long time ago with my chickens on. And yeah, I wanted to do some spring stitching, so I pulled out a few patterns. Here are the other two that I pulled out. I pulled out that Brenda Gervais. It's not tulip season yet, is it? But I feel I might start that actually. I've got a really lovely piece of fabric that I think would work really well with that. And I pulled out that one as well. But I don't see myself starting that one now. But I do see myself starting that one. And I also pulled out, started and finished this drawn thread piece. Because this was a kit. I can't remember whether I bought it from the Nimble Thimble or whether I picked it up on eBay. I know it wasn't very much money. I've done the pumpkin, which I gave away the chart and the leftover threads from in one of my episodes. And it took me about 3 evenings to do this, and I love it. So much nicer in real life than it is on that picture. On that picture it looks quite pale, doesn't it? But this is the fabric that came with the kit. It's Permin Antique something, or I can't be bothered to look it up, but it was Permin Antique something. What a lovely colour. That, you know, so stiff as a board, Permin fabric, but that's okay. So there's some over one. There's always some speciality stitches, isn't there, in drawn thread. The threads, obviously it's a kit, so they came like this. There were a mixture of dinky dyes and MPIs, and I stitched it as cool as, you know, one strand over 2 or over 1, and absolutely love it. Really pleased with it. Love the colours. Love the colour of the linen. Really enjoyed doing it. So my pumpkin is finished as a flat fold, and I may well do the same with this. I have another one of these kits. I've got the chrysanthemum one, I think, which is summery, so I feel that this is spring. My other one is autumn. Yeah, keep an eye out for some more of those there. And I'm really enjoyed stitching that. So that's a finish. What's in here? Oh, this is in here because I have, well, as a result of the whip parade, I dekitted some things. So that freed up this bag, this chocolate bag. And because it's a chocolate bag, it felt like it was a, these are supposed to be, yeah, chocolatier, it says here. It felt Valentine's Day-y, sort of, because I get boxes of chocolates for Valentine's Day. So I did a Valentine's stitch, and I've got another one in here, which I feel like I might start it and stitch it now. It's a free chart from La-di-da. Even though it's free, I feel like I shouldn't really show it. It's an alphabet with a bunny and some hearts on it. So I found quite a nice piece of fabric, and one of my new threads and one that I already had. So I was thinking I might do the alphabet in this and the bunny in the heart in pink, and that would be a Valentine's-y sort of finish. And even though Valentine's Day is long gone, it's sort of spring-like. Anything with a rabbit on it is spring-like or Easter-like. Oh, yeah, I'll show you the inside of the bag is chocolates. So, my chocolate bag. So I don't know. That might be a start and a finish for next time, or next year. I get a bit ambitious with how much I think I can achieve. What's this? Yes, I'll talk about this a bit later, I think, actually, because that ties in with some haul. My book of days is in there. Oh, nearly done. This is my Mondays with Mary stitch. Is it Mary Jennings? That I am doing with my friend Sylvia. So we stitch on this, or we try to, because I sometimes forget and Sylvia sometimes is also too busy or forgetting. I don't know, we're not perfect, but we are working on it together, and we do stitch on her on a Monday. And I have been remembering, Mondays seem to be quite a busy day for me, I've discovered, so I don't really get very much done. But here I am with Mary Jennings. Just fold her in half, because I'm only... It's interesting because Sylvia started at the top and is working down, and I'm a bottom starter. So that's where I am with her. Colour's really lovely on this linen. Actually, you know, I can see this. I can stitch on this and even accurately place these floating motifs without my magnification. There's something about that other linen for a daily reminder, because this is also quite dark. This is Cactus Wren, I think. Cactus Wren, 40 count, so 40 count. But that other linen I cannot see. Yeah. I think, you know, since you last saw her one Monday, I might have only done that. Last Monday I put in that one, but I also did some finishing off of this building down here. Really enjoy this. Nice to stitch along with a friend. So there she is, Sylvia. I took a picture to send to Sylvia, and been so busy I didn't even get around to posting her, emailing her the picture. But you can see her there, Sylvia. That's my progress. I'll show you the pattern. The pattern is by Ray Niles, who is Red Barn Samplers, and was a gift to me from Sylvia. And I'm using the called for DMC, and very unusually for me, I've put them on thread drop, whatever these things are called. And I did that because the threads were also a gift from Sylvia, as were the cards. She sent me a package to well, how would you describe it? Well, it was a gift of love, but so that I could experience the, was it called the Great British Sampler Weekend that happened, that Hands Across the Sea put on last year, and these had been gifted to Sylvia from Audrey, Stitch Bead, and so she gave me those, and I thought, well, I'll just use them. So I put my DMCs on there, but I don't usually use those. Oh, and you can see there's a pair of these. I sell these on the website. Steve made a different page for the accessories, so they're not as obvious anymore. I think there's an accessories button at the top that you have to click. Yeah, so there. And you know, if I've learnt to keep the I used to just throw that bit away because I've got a few pairs of these, but I've learnt to keep it for as long as it lasts, because it just sort of, but it's very useful to have a pair of scissors in your project bag. There we go. So that's my Mondays with Mary stitch, which is coming along slowly but surely. I don't think that will be a finish this year. There's a lot of over one wording. That'll take me a long time. One last thing. And you know what this is if you've been watching me. This is my parrot leopard line, and this is the project that I have been focusing on this month. And this is where I am. So since you last saw it, I have managed to get in, well, it's big, let me just balance it on my shoulder. I think I already had that motif done, but since you last saw it, I've worked on this area down through here and the wing, and if I've got some thread left over, I put it in somewhere else. So there's some movement appearing, there is some action appearing over here, down here. And I am filling in the background, and I've got a bit further with that. I've almost got to the top, not quite got to the top here, but I've filled in this bit here. Yeah. I was looking at it last night and I thought, I think I'm about halfway, bearing in mind that I have the whole background to fill in as well. So I would like to finish this year. I very, very, very much want this hanging above my fireplace. And that's what's keeping me going, because it's just fantastic and it's going to look great hanging there. I put those stitches in his beak for my new intro, because yeah, there we go. That's Parrot Leopard Lion. So it's the 28th today. I suppose maybe tonight I will just work on this, because this is the last day. I'm going to stop this, and I have plans for a different sampler to put some love in for March, which is tomorrow, or today, because you're watching this on the 1st of March. This is a good example of the different types of bags that I sell. These Dorothy bags, which I sell more often than anything else, you can get lots in these, because there's a lot of threads. This is how I normally keep my DMCs. There's a lot of threads in this fellow, and I've changed the background colour, so I've got a lot of loose ones in here, and obviously the pattern and stuff as well. I've got handfuls of background colour. So I made this project bag with him in mind, because he really needs a big bag, a big project. But having said that, I do love the Caroline bags. You'll see that I've got more of those than anything else. Una, you're on the move. What are you doing? What's up, sweet? Where are you going? Where are you going? You can't get at me. I'm surrounded by stuff, aren't I? Come round. Come say hello. Come on. There. You're not going to look at the camera, are you? But she heard a motorbike. Steve's out. I suppose she thought it could be him, but it's not him, is it? It's not Dad. He's not Dad. No, eyebrows. Can you look at you? No way you're going to look at the camera. No. Right. That is an empty Gertrude bag. So that's everything that I've been working on in the last 5 weeks. Right, I'm going to get my notebook so that I don't forget anything. It's not an hour. You're used to long videos from me. In 5 weeks it's going to be long, isn't it? Right, I think next I'm going to talk about the bag update. I am. So I wanted to do something special. I think they're special. To celebrate I've probably already said that, commemorate my year on doing these videos and having you all join me and making all these lovely new friends and contacts that I've made. So here we go. Let's start off with the Gertrude that's coming. So this is a furnishing fabric by Sanderson's. Are you making lots of noise? A furnishing fabric by Sanderson's called Dancing Tulips. I called it vintage when I posted it on Instagram because I think it dates back to 2012. So that's quite a few years ago now, isn't it? A time that it was used. I've used furnishing fabric once before for Gertrude bags, and I showed that one. That's my current one that you've just seen. That's a furnishing fabric. Now, furnishing fabrics are expensive. I've had this one for a while, so I've just priced them in a similar to if I had bought the Rifle Paper Company canvas. That's how I've priced it, because this is just fabric that I had. But I think they're rather lovely. I'm very pleased with how they turned out. I wasn't sure because it's a very big print, but yeah, and tulip season's coming up. I love this colourway, and I found some Rifle Paper Company fabric, which is the right sort of beigey colour for the lining, so it's got a really lovely lining in it. So those are available now on the website. And inside I've popped all the bags that are coming. So there is a new-ish French General range of fabrics. I can't remember what it's called, but you know, a lot of you will be familiar with it. There were 2 designs in the range that I really liked, so those are the ones I focused on. One of them was this bird print. Oh, that is a very pale cream, that one. And the other one was this floral print. So for clarity and to make this not too long, there are 2 designs to choose from, either birds or flowers. They are all Dorothy bags or Mary bags. So I'll just show you quickly the birds in cream or an ivory colour, in red, or this putty colour. I always include one of these tags. I just stamped up some new ones, so they'll all have tags so you can write the contents on. Most of them, I really liked this beigey coloured yarn for a tassel. I didn't like it so much on this one, so for this one, I don't have very much of this left, but this is a silk yarn, a silk lace weight yarn. So if it was in the sun, you'd see that one glowing. And there. Linings, all the linings are gorgeous. Wait for it. Love it. So that one. I can't remember what I've put in them. Oh, same one again. Yeah, that one. This one can't possibly be red, Sarah, surely. You didn't put red in here. No, I didn't. I did that one. Yeah, that one. Right, and in the flowers, again, 3 colourways. Either this terracotta. I think that's my favourite actually. But then I look at the mustard one and think, oh, that's my favourite. Or I look at the red and I think, oh, that's my favourite. So I can't decide. So these are time consuming to make because they are quilted. And so and that's the lining on the Mary bag. And a lovely piece of monohand ribbon, and I mean, you can, obviously that's just, if you're a knitter, that's good for stitch markers or whatever, but you know, it's just useful, isn't it? Anyway, so I stick those on. I have started these in this fabric with the same, that I bought loads of that lining. Love that, love that. They're not going to be ready for tomorrow, so I think they'll come later. So there will be, so you know, there will be Mary bags in that. God, I love that. The printing, the level of detail. Oh, they're a bit more expensive. The reason they're a bit more expensive is, I've talked about how I price my bags before, but this fabric is more expensive than a lot of the fabrics that I usually use. I paid more for this fabric, and so the bags are a bit more. I'm really sorry about that. I like to keep my prices down. I want to make them really accessible, but they are a bit more expensive, and I think that you can see that because the quality of the printing, the features of the bird and his feet, you know, on a dark colour like that, to get those little feet, the printing, I think that's why the fabric was more expensive. I can definitely see why. So anyway, Mary available in this and will be in the birds, but not just yet. So linings. That one. Yeah, that was my favourite. That is my favourite actually. I bought quite a lot of that fabric. And so that's the update. And obviously I put them in here. I have made board. Oh, actually, I'll just show them on there, maybe easier. Birdie ones. I can't say which bird. Actually, that's the same bird, isn't it, in the different colourways. Is there a red one? Yeah. A red one. I don't know how well you can see those. And then for the flower ones, I'm going to show you just one. I can't, like that. Oh, actually one of them has got that. I love that lining fabric, so one of them's got that. So anyway, there's a variety of thread keeps as well. And they'll all be available now on the website. So that's the bag update. What else am I talking about? Yeah, I'm sorry. I am sorry that they are a bit more expensive, but it's literally purely because that I paid more for that fabric. I thought it was worth it. I hope you think it's worth it too. And yeah, there we go. Right, what have I been buying? Well, it's been 5 weeks. Not too much, I feel. After my whip parade, and I had a really small update of those owl bags that all got snapped up again. God, that has been such a popular fabric. Obviously I had some money come in, and it all goes round and round, and I thought, right, I'm going to order some of these patterns, which I have been contemplating probably for a couple of years. But I finally did an order with the Chiswick company. This is, I wouldn't have heard of them if it hadn't have been, again, for my friend Katie Strachan, who's influencing me. And I looked at them ages ago on Etsy, and she'd been showing on. Anyway, I've built up to it, and I ordered kits from them, and I ordered quite a few because the postage, and Etsy put on quite a lot of charges. I don't like buying from Etsy anymore, I've decided. Una, do you need to go? Do you? Oh, off. Just a minute. Pause and let's just let her out. Right, she's gone. She'll be very disappointed when she realises it's not him. What was I saying? Yes, they put on quite a lot of charges, so the postage was really very expensive, and it seemed to be fees within that post. I don't really quite understand how it works, so I thought, well, I'll just order a few because I might never do it again, because I wanted the kits, because I don't usually make this type of thing. This will be a new venture for me, so I don't have a stash of felts and fabrics and things to use like I have for Roz's quilt, stitch quilt along. So anyway, I bought the kits, which I thought were very reasonably priced. They're very reasonably priced. It was just the some sort of fee thing that they were putting on the postage. Anyway, I bought a kit to make a mama sheep and a baby sheep, which I thought was very Easter-like. And this is not the kit, because I opened it to have a look at what was inside. Because Easter is on the way, and I'm going to have a go at making those. So I bought that. And the other kits that I bought that. And which is very Christmassy. And I bought another, well, wintry rather than Christmassy. That one. This one's definitely Christmassy because it's a goose. That one. Most of the things that you need are inside. I haven't opened any of these. I thought he was great, so I bought him. And I bought those. I think there's enough in there to make both of them. It seems that you might need to have a few other bits and pieces to complete them, but the felts and things are all in there. So yeah, quite a lot to buy in one hit, but I think ultimately it's a bit like going back to Penelope's pocket. If you buy more than one bag, because the way the website works, you'll pay postage each time you buy one. You buy them individually. Again, it's the way the website works. But I'll refund you the difference in the postage that you've paid and what it actually costs. I don't make any profit on the postage. In fact, I lose money on the postage, I think. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just the way it is. And it costs. So if you buy, say if you're in America, if you buy 2 bags, the postage is more, but not double. And I think you can probably buy 3 for the same postage as buying 2, if that makes sense, because it's all done on weight. So I bought as many as I could for the postage bracket that it fell into, if that makes sense, because that's a more economical way of doing it. And we'll see how I get on with them. It's quite a jump, isn't it, to buy so many when you've not even made one before. But anyway, was very excited to get those. I'm looking down. I did my first ever stitchy day last year. I went to the Stitchery in Northamptonshire to a Stitch Chili workshop, which was hosted by Sarah. She's the Stitchery Sisters, so the cross-stitching element of that place, that business, that shop. And I had such a lovely time. And I did notice that there was another one, or another two, coming up. But I'm actually going to the Stacey Nash retreat at Cowslips in the summer this year, which I'm very excited about. So I thought, oh, I don't really want to do two Stacey Nash things. But I thought about it and I thought, you know, that day was such fun. I think I can get there and back in a day, because last time I went, we stayed overnight. We booked, Steve came with me, we did an air, because I didn't know how well I was going to be. We did an Airbnb stay, took Una with us. She went walking with Steve while I went to the workshop. But it's away from here, but it's not impossible to go there and back in a day. So I started thinking and I thought, well, actually, I had such a nice time. Shall I go again? And then Emma Rose Cottage Creates here on Flosstube and on Instagram as well. She's going, and she said, you know, if you have already stitched Hazel, you know, Sarah will kit you up with a different animal or whatever. And I thought, oh, maybe I will go. So I contacted Sarah and I said, could I do a different animal cracker to Hazel? And she said, of course. She's super busy at the moment with Nashville, so I'm leaving it with her. I've given her a couple that I like, and she's going to, it'd be a surprise when I get there and see which one I will be stitching, because I'm not going to do Hazel. But I am going. This is a very long-winded way of saying I am going. If you're going, please let me know. I know that Emma is going. It'd be really lovely to see you again, Emma. And if anybody else is going that watches me, or that I know that went last time, please let me know, because it'd be lovely to know that I'm going to see some other people in real life, and it would be really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that is a purchase. I have bought my place on that day. I have done a Nashville pre-order with Sue from Peakside Needleworks. I won't say what I pre-ordered, but I have done a pre-order of 1, 2, 3, 4 charts, I think, maybe. None of them are Stacey Nash. I really love the hedgehog that sits in the little needle book, but I didn't, because I am going to this Stacey Nash retreat in the summer, and I thought, I bet she'll have loads of patterns and there might be new ones there as well. So I held back. I didn't order any Stacey Nash ones, but I ordered some different ones, and I'll surprise you with what those are when they come next time. And then on the last day before Sue was shutting down the website for her trip to Nashville, I did an order for some threads that are for my pre-orders. So I don't know, can you guess what I ordered from the colour of the threads? It's so obvious to me, but I ordered that's not a good picture as it's blowing out, the sun's come out. That's better. I ordered those because in my experience sometimes popular charts, the threads all sell out, and so you get the chart. I'm so sorry. That could be the postman. There's only one reason a schnauzer makes that much noise, and I think that's probably the postman. I will pause you again and sort out the dog. I'm back. Well, I've been gone a little while. You don't know that, do you? But I don't know what. Their schnauzers don't bark at nothing. There must have been somebody out there. I don't know if there's a knock on the door. I've opened the door. There's no parcels outside, but someone was near her house, and she just had to check it out. And then she's been outside all around the garden sniffing around. So anyway, I can't remember what I was saying. Was I saying that threads sell out for popular patterns? I don't know if you can tell what I ordered from those threads. I think that might have been what I was saying. So that's that. So I ordered those. And then I ordered some fabrics. I saw that Sue had Aspen from Weeks Dye Works. And I thought to myself, that's the called for fabric for, I don't know how I remembered, but I knew it, for, it's the called for fabric for that I bought at the Jingle Ball. And the cut, interestingly, the cut that you would need for this, because obviously it's long, was sold out. But there was a fat quarter. Yeah, so the one that was sold out was the one that's half of this. I don't know what size that makes it, but was it? No, it can't have been that. Anyway, it was sold out, but there was a fat quarter. It's the old Weeks base, which I've spoken about before. I like it. So it's actually a really nice colour. It's a bit like Confederate grey, only not as grey somehow. I don't know. I quite like it as a colour. And I got something just a minute ago, didn't I? Yeah. So I thought, well, I'll get that, because I think I'll make two things like that, and the other one I'm going to make is this one. I'd like to make this before I go to cowslips. I bought this when it was a market release, 2019. Never done it. So I'm going to make that. And I think it'll probably be quite nice on there. I've got some of the threads for this. Actually, I've been collecting up some other threads. I bought some threads for it way back when. They're in a bag, but that's the red and the grey. It look nice on there, but then there's quite a lot of that colour in it as well. I think will be alright on there. Show up quite nicely. Oops. I think the called for one is Dirt Road, and I have a system of storing my threads, so I found out and I thought, well, I've got Dirt Road, so I went to go and get it. And when I went to get it, I thought, I hope there's enough. It's not a full skein. But then I saw that one and I thought, well, actually they look identical, so if I run out I'll just use Palomino as well. So yeah, that's my plan. So I guess that might be a start as well, because there's quite a lot of stitching in that roll. Did I put it back in there? When I was checking out the pattern, I think that's going to blow my mind, because that, how am I going to stitch it? Am I going to stitch it like that's the bottom and work up that way, which means that I'll be stitching a sideways person? Or am I going to stitch it that way and stitch up that way, which means I'll be stitching a house sideways? I don't know if I can do that. I think that's going to be a bit mind-blowing for me, the way my brain works. It looks in the pattern like that is like almost like a stitched on piece, but it's actually just a border around. I don't know. You can't switch and stitch that way and then turn it around and go that way, can you? I don't know. I think that's going to be a challenge for my brain. Anyway, that's why that was in my my current project bag, because I've been thinking about that and have now got a piece of fabric for it. Sorry, running nose. That's your fault. She's got me running around after you. Right. Oh yes, and then I bought. What have I done with the other bits that I bought? Because there are other bits. There's a little bit of fabric. That's your fault as well, Una. Oh, it's fallen off on there. I bought a piece of Fox and Rabbit 36 count up in the attic. because I thought it looked a bit gingerbready. And I've needed a fabric for some time for, well, that was a freebie at the Jingle Ball. So that might be quite nice. How big a bit did I get? A fat 1/8. Yeah, I think there might have been a fat 1/4, but I wasn't, you can't tell about colours really, and I wasn't sure. I could have had a bigger bit actually. I quite like it. And that, when it came, I looked at it and I thought, ooh, ginger. I can't remember the colour she was stitched on, but I think it's like a much darker tone of this. And so then I began to think, what if I stitched that? Because I have an idea that I'd like to turn that into a house for Ginger, so that inside there would be a pocket that Ginger can sit in. You know, Ginger the mouse on the skates. So yeah, lots of ideas there, and that's why I bought those fabrics. Oh, I bought something else as well actually, not stitching related, but something that you might be interested in. I bought when I was down with my parents, went to a really lovely local bookshop, and I bought this little floristry, almost like a notebook size. It's quite a small sized book for flicking through. I have been reading it actually and quite enjoying it. It gives well, it gives ideas for vessels. I mean, I don't know how that's going to show up. And then common shapes of arrangements and your toolkit, essential skills, yeah, how to piece things together, and seasonal, you know, what you can do seasonally. I mean, look at that, isn't that beautiful? So yeah, I'm feeling like I'd like to get my garden looking good. When the sun came out, I almost picked up my secateurs straight away to get out there to prune my roses. My roses last year were fabulous. They probably won't be as good this year, but it was just one of those years. It must have been one of those years last year. And roses are incredible plants, so you don't really need to do very much to them, but I do need to get out there and prune them because some of them got really big and far too tall, so all the flowers are at the top. So the sun came out and I nearly had my secateurs straight in my hand, straight out there to start cutting them back, but I haven't. And I do like picking things from the garden and bringing them into the house and displaying them. So anyway, that was a book that I bought. It wasn't very expensive actually. £14, but yeah, I have enjoyed looking at it so far, and yeah, watch this space. I have to do a bit of flower arranging. Finishes. So I fully finished something that you've seen before in the smallest sized shaker box. I talk about these in a previous episode and I cannot remember Neil, that I think is the man who makes them. What's the name of his company? Can't remember. That's bad, isn't it? Anyway, I've talked about them before. This is the smallest size. It's just rattling around because I have something precious in here. I have an acorn from a friend of mine with a special, yeah, special words. I finished my Blackbird designs. Can't remember what the chart's called. It's from the Ooh La La book. I stitched it in 21 and it sat in a bag because I had no idea what to do with it, and it's perfect. So it doesn't matter sometimes how long things wait. I found this challenging. I think ovals, rounds are challenging. So I cut a couple of bits of card. Well, I cut one piece of card to start with, quite thick mount board type card, using that as a guide. And then I put some curtain interlining fluffy stuff in a couple of layers, one covering the whole board and then a slightly smaller one and then a slightly smaller one, so that it would be very slightly padded in the middle. And I laced this piece on, and I wasn't happy with how neat the edges looked, even though it was going to sit inside here. So I took it all apart and doubled up the mount board to make the mount board firmer for the lacing, so it didn't distort the mount board. And then I cut another piece of, well, I trimmed the mount board down a bit, and then I cut another piece of curtain interlining, bigger, and wrapped it round the edges. I felt that it was the edges. I mean, even because the shadow, you can see it's not perfect. It doesn't show in real life. Actually, you can see it because of the shadow, I think. So I wrapped the interlining actually around and underneath the mount board, and then laced the piece on, which made the edge smoother. The edge was too harsh and it wasn't working. It worked putting on the interlining, and it was doing that a lot, but that is virtually gone. I know you can see it, but I think that's probably the shadow, because in real life it doesn't show quite as much. And then I was hoping that it would just drop down in, but actually I had to push it down in, so it's in there for life. I had thought about putting a ribbon tab on each end so that you could pull it out, but you know, what does it matter? It's just in there now, so it's there. It's not stuck in, it is just pushed in, but it's gripped quite tightly, and I'm very happy with how that looks, and have ideas for other ovals that might be a bit bigger that I could stitch to go in the other 2 sizes of box that I bought. So that's been a finish. I put my acorn, special acorn, back in. There we go. That's that. I had a start and a finish for Valentine's Day. I stitched this. This is a primitive hair freebie. I have had it for a long time as a printed chart. I don't know where I got it from, but I'm sure I'm sure it's out there, because a lot of people have stitched this, I know. I changed the year to the year that I met Steve, which was 1985. I used one of my new Belsoir silks, I think it's called Fresh Raspberries, on a piece of, it was quite a low count actually. It could be 32 count Weeks Dye Works Cocoa. It's just one thread of the silk over 2 of the linen, and then I backed it with a piece of K Facet fabric. I've made bags out of this in the past. I put a little daisy on, and the year charm for 2026. So I have a small Valentine's display. It's still out actually. I thought about showing it today, but I knew that this was going to be a long episode, so I won't show you the other things that I've done, but that one I did for this year. So that was a start and a finish. Oh, and I finished Una, not you Una, you Luna. I finished Luna. So she now has eyes, which she didn't have when you saw her in the Whip Parade. She has a nose, and she also has a mouth, which she doesn't in... I haven't seen anybody give her a mouth, but I didn't like her without a mouth, so I gave her a mouth. and she's smiling. So she is finished, and I have, excuse me Luna, we're all ladies here. I made her some bloomers on an elasticated waist, and I made her a dress from the book that I showed last time, and I think she's adorable. She sits on my sofa. It's just I just put a press fastener which came from Steve's grandma's needlework book box, a little tiny when you press fasten it underneath there, and made her a dress. And yeah, delighted with her actually. She's really cute. I'm pleased she's dressed. I'm pleased I gave her a mouth, and she's smiling and she's happy, and she makes me happy as well. And what's really funny is Isabel came round and she was sat on the sofa, and Isabel looked at her and did a double take, and she looked at me and she said, "Is it really weird to say that she looks like you? Why does she look like you?" And I had a bit of a chuckle because this is leftover fabric from a top that I've got and that I wear. I haven't worn it for a while. In fact, I nearly put it on today because I thought it would be quite funny for us to be twins. I'll wear it another time. This is a really beautiful Nanny Inro Japanese fabric. It's very fine. It's like a satin type weave on it, and I think it might be, it's definitely cotton. It could, look at sheen, it might have an element of silk in it as well, so it's a really beautiful fabric. And I keep all my fabric scraps, and so there was enough there to make Luna a dress. And yes, I do have a matching top, Isabel. And out on the side here, I've got some yarn I came across. My whip parade made me have a bit of a clear out. Actually, she's clashing with my jumper. And these are yarns, those two there are left over from a shawl, but obviously one day I will show you a brioche shawl. That was the first ever speckled yarn that I bought. It's got a bit of fluff on it there. Yeah. And I am going to knit her something. I feel like I'm going to knit her a cardigan. I've got that as well. I'm not even quite sure what that is, but I feel a cardigan coming on for you. I don't think I'm going to be making her lots of clothes. I don't think that's my bag. But I have enjoyed making her. I have enjoyed making her a dress, and I feel like I would like to make her a cardigan. So finish and plans, and all thanks to the whip parade. They're making me have a bit of a sort out. So that's it. Finishes. Giveaway. I am going to do a special giveaway to celebrate being here for a year, and all my, not followers, subscribers. When I first started doing this, I sort of thought that if anybody came to watch me, it would be my Instagram friends that have been following me. I remember doing a post on Instagram saying I was thinking about doing it, that I'd done it. And so all those lovely ladies on Instagram that I have chatted with over the years, I thought that they would all come and watch me and it would all be lovely, and that would be that. But almost immediately I had quite a lot of people. I remember going to bed on the evening and getting up the next morning and looking and thinking, oh my goodness, people watching me, this is crazy. And so I have got a fair few subscribers, and I never really I feel like I don't ask you to subscribe. It's just nice if you do. It's not, it doesn't, I won't say it doesn't bother me, because that makes me feel ungrateful. I'm not, yeah, I don't look that often. I did notice that after my whip parade, a few extra people subscribed. So I think I looked this morning and I've got 1,750 subscribers, and that is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you. So I would like you to be a subscriber if you're going to enter my giveaway, because it is a thank you to all those people that click that button, and I guess it makes you feel, I mean, I do it if there was only you know, a few of you, but it makes me feel like I want to come back. No, I want to come back anyway. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, it's very nice. It's very nice if you are subscribing. Thank you. And so, in celebration of a year, I'm going to give away a bag. And I'm going to give away a very special bag because, well, I think it's a very special bag, because I've been hoarding this fabric, but it is the bag, or one of, there are two bags pictured on the picture, the picture that represents Penelope's pocket. I don't know what you call that, on YouTube, not the one on Instagram, but the one on YouTube that represents Penelope's pocket. There are two bags shown on there, and this is one of them. So I don't know if you recognise it from that picture. I made these some years ago, I can't actually remember when, and sold them all, but I didn't use all the fabric. I had a piece left over because I love this and I always wanted to have one of these for myself, and I didn't keep one out of that batch that I made. They all sold. So if you've got one of these, actually if you've got one of these, you can always say that in the comment, because there are a few out there but not many. It's quite a rare bag. I can't tell you what the fabric is, it's just a fabric that I loved. And so I'd seen it in my cupboard of fabrics and I thought, actually that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? It's quite a special giveaway. This is the symbol for the channel, and so I've made one. I might make one for myself as well, and it was fun to make. I haven't made, this is a Caroline bag, and I haven't made any of these for a while. I had to think, actually. I've made hundreds obviously over the years, but I had to think about how to do it because I hadn't made one for such a long time. There's a lot of work in them. It's quilted. This is fun because I quilted it on the design, which I matched up, I think, pretty nicely. Yeah, so I'm going to give this away with a tassel and a thread keep. Just picked out one of the flowers, and I'm also going to give away a pair of my scissors, baby bow scissors that you can put on the thread keep. So if you would like to win this beautiful bag, which is a rarity, and I think really beautiful actually, if you would like to be in a chance with winning this, could you please use the word Caroline? Be very clear, that is how you spell it, in a comment below. Please be a subscriber, because that's fair. I think that's fair for all the people that do follow me. No, subscribe, I don't know what the word is. Anyway, I think that's fair for me to say that. And I will draw a name next episode, which will be in about 3 weeks' time. And I don't mind where I send it to. I will send it abroad, because I know a lot of my viewers don't. A lot of you do live in the UK, which is lovely. Love having. I've gained a lot of UK customers since I've been doing this, which is so nice, to be selling the bags in the UK. It's nice selling them anywhere, but actually talking about, somebody asked me again very recently about selling to Europe, and I've applied for something called an EORI number. I don't know whether that will help me be able to sell to Europe again, and there probably would be duties and taxes that you might have to pay your end. I don't know. It's selling to Europe, not easy, but I can sell. I send a lot to America. Actually, I don't think I'm not very good at promoting myself. I've probably not even talked about this. Since the tariffs and things, I still sell to America. And when you buy the duties and the taxes are paid at the point that you check out of my with my PayPal account. So I've not heard, oh, touch wood, I've not heard anything from any of my customers about any issues. I know, Jackie, Comfort Stitching, you had one delayed at customs or somewhere, spent some time in a place where it shouldn't have been, but no issues with anything to pay further once they're through. Everything seems to be working fine. So I send a lot to America, Australia. I sold quite a few to Jersey. Europe is, I used to have so many great customers in Spain and France and the Netherlands. So difficult to send there now. I'm so sorry, ladies. I know that you watch me. If you had, one lady who's a really lovely customer comes over to the UK sometimes to visit, and so I send her an address here. Actually, there's a few of you that do that. When you're coming, I'm very happy to do that for you. I've got one lovely customer in France. I sent them to a retreat that she was going to in the UK. I'm really sorry that I can't send it. Anyway, that's the way it is, isn't it? But anyway, if you watch me and you enjoy, that's great. But I'm sorry for those people that supported me from the very beginning that can't buy from me anymore because of that. But anyway, you could win one, because I'll send it to Europe, because it's a gift, so I can send it to Europe. So yes, if you're in wherever you are in the world, I will send you this as a huge thank you for being there for me and supporting me in my YouTube channel. Right, if you've had enough of me, please feel that you can go. It's already been quite long, but in my whip parade, I did say if anybody's got any questions for my anniversary episode, things that you'd like to know, I'll answer them here. So that's the next section. If you're not interested and you want to go, I will tell you that my next episode, hopefully in 3 weeks' time, will be the long-awaited quilting episode. I am not a quilter, so it will be interesting. But I have made 4 king-sized quilts in my time, and yeah, a few other, somebody noticed I've got one behind me there. So I have, but I am completely self-taught, so it'll be interesting. That'll be next time. So if you're not interested in the questions and answer section, I'll say goodbye now, and I'll see you next time. But if you're keen to continue stitching, knitting or ironing, I'll start the question and answer things. So Diane, your question was, can you teach me how to make a project bag? And my answer is, I'm not going to do tutorials, because I don't think I'm skilled enough at anything to be doing tutorials, and there are lots of really great ones out there. Lots of people do tutorials and do them really well, and that's definitely not my thing that I can do. I can tell you that with these, I obviously quilt them. I use a double-sided quilting batting thingy that I iron in between the 2 layers to quilt. I do use an interfacing. I never used to, actually, in the very early days. So if you've got some of my very early bags, the zip bits are not interfaced, but these more latter ones, there's interfacing in there to be able to get a really neat zip. I think that does help get the zip in very neatly. That I bind them, that's put on the machine, but they're all done by hand. So they're all hand. I can't tell you how long that takes me, it's crazy. But they are all hand stitched. but yeah, I don't think I'm going to go down the tutorial route. I've done a few things like on showing how I do a tension square in the round, but backwards and forwards on the piece. I included that in one episode because I thought that was quite interesting for people to see, but just tips really rather than a tutorial as such. So there you go, Diane. Liz, you asked me a really interesting one about the connection between the fact that I do a lot of sewing and stitching and my career as an antiques dealer in furniture. And yeah, I found that very interesting question actually. I think it's I have a great love of aesthetic. I like the way things look, so that feeds into my creativity in the sewing and the making of things, but in my antiques life, is it called having an eye, just an eye for something, and a feeling of what works with what you know, I used to recover sofas and things, so what fabric is going to work on that sofa. And I'm really into interiors as well, so pulling together, I make all my own curtains, cushions. I'd love to do upholstery, but you know, there's only so much you can do, isn't there? There have been quite a few times that I've almost gone down the upholstery rabbit hole. Yeah, it is all interconnected actually, isn't it? The sewing, the making of things. I've said some people really enjoy the process of stitching. We're talking about cross stitching now, and I do really enjoy the process of stitching, because I wouldn't do it if I didn't. And I do enjoy the process of knitting because I've been doing it, spent many hours of my life doing these things. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. But ultimately for me, it's the finished object that is my raison d'etre, my passion, and I usually have an image in my mind of how it's going to look when it's finished, where it's going to hang in my house, where it's going to sit in my house, what it's going to sit with, what am I going to wear it with. Yeah, it's all a visual thing. They are connected, they are definitely connected, and it's all about, I'm just going to say, my eye. I use, somebody has commented about the fabrics that I choose to use. I don't choose anything that I don't really love, so I guess although they're quite eclectic, they're all very me, and so my bags represent my taste. I don't make things because I think, oh, people really like cats, that will sell. I make it because I really like, because I'm not a cat lover particularly, but I have made bags with cats on because I really like that fabric. I really like that image of that cat. It's just it's an aesthetic. It's the way that things look that are to my taste, and that comes across. I mean, being a buyer for a major store, yes, you're buying for that store, but that store is buying into you are creating that look, aren't you? It's you're in synergy, you're in tune with that store. I couldn't have been a buyer, I could name any store, couldn't I? But I was a buyer where I was a buyer because it was my aesthetic, as well as the aesthetic of the of the store where I worked. So there is a connection, and it's all about loving things, objects, beautiful things that work together, things that make your heart race a bit faster because you look at it and think, oh, I love that. Yeah. Do I stitch in hand or in a hoop? That was a question from Zena. Zena, that gave me the idea for my new intro. I stitch in hand. I never use a hoop. No, I don't think I've ever used a hoop. Not even for over one. I know some people say it can help with over one stitching. I stitch in hand because ultimately I think I'm a sewer. That's that. You will have seen in the intro that action of sewing from right to left is how I stitch. So no hoops. Rachel, you asked a fantastic question about something that was hanging on the sideboard behind me, the dresser behind me, and it was about this, which you described as a bear mask, but it's a cat. I hope you can tell that now I've taken it down. And on the back it says Penelope, so it must be Penelope's. I think I remember Penelope wearing it actually. I knew it wasn't Isabel's. And it's on a perished piece of elastic from when it was taken off her face when she came home from school in probably 2005. I'm going to guess 2005, the summer of 2005, when she would have been 4, and it was hooked up there on that sideboard at that time, and there it is sat for 20 years. I dusted it. I do dust it, obviously. In 20 years it has been dusted. Yeah, and so it was a mask from school, and there are things like that in this house that have just come out of school. My kids are long past school age now, been plonked somewhere and never moved since. But he has moved now, so now I'm thinking, now I've taken him down, I wonder what I'll do with him now. So that's what that is. I had 2 questions which were very similar from Jackie Comfort Stitching Jackie, and Justine, who's been watching and commenting here for a long time. Hello both of you. You both sort of asked the same question: what did I do at Liberty and how long was I there for? So I thought, just to close, I'll tell you, I think I might have said it before, but I'll tell you again how I got there. I did, well actually let's go back a bit further. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was doing my A-levels, and as part of my A-level journey you had to go to careers meetings, lectures, whatever, and I went to one about estate agency and found it really interesting because that was about houses and property, and I'm interested, always like nosing around houses. And as a result of that, I wrote off for a prospectus from a place that was doing a course. And when the prospectus came, because auctioneering covers obviously auctioning property, land, and antiques and chattels. And so part of the course of, a sister course to becoming an estate agent or a land agent or whatever, was fine art auctioneering. And so when I saw that, I thought, now that I am interested in. So I applied for a place to become an auctioneer and a valuer. At the same time, I was very interested in, and always have been, fashion. And so I also applied for a course at the London College of Fashion. I knew I was never going to be a fashion designer, but the course I applied for was on the production side, the management side of producing garments. and the whole industry behind producing clothes, I suppose. So I applied for both of them, and I was put on a wait list at the London College of Fashion, but I got a place to do fine art auctioneering, and so I accepted the fine art auctioneering and off I went. And later I had a phone call from the London College of Fashion saying that I was off the wait list and they had a place for me, but I was like, well, it's too late, I've made my decision, I'm doing this now. Just that I was just about to start the course, it was too late. And so that's what I did. So that was a 3-year course. I worked in an auction house for quite a while, and it wasn't a degree, it was both the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, the RICS, and the Incorporated Society of Valuers and Auctioneers, the ISVA. I did both sets of exams. You had to work in an auction house for a couple of years to get your accreditation, to get your letters after your name, and then do continual professional development things. I couldn't get a decently paid, or any pay actually, they like you to work for nothing, well, they did at the time, we're talking some years ago, in an auction house. And so that was locally down in Dorset where I was living. So I thought, I'm going to have to go to London. And Steve said, we were together by then, okay, I'll go with you. So he got a job just like that, working in a, because he's in property as well. That's how I met him, you see, because property is part of auctioneering, chattels, fine art. It's all part of the same thing. And but he's in commercial property. And so he got a job in a very good firm in Bond Street, just like that. I couldn't get a job, but in the end I got a job, and I know I've talked about this here before, working for a carpet dealer. So I worked in a shop in Knightsbridge that dealt in antique carpets, rugs, and I did that for a while, but it wasn't really enjoying it. And we lived in Kingston upon Thames at the time, and I noticed there was a Liberty branch in Kingston and they were looking for a sales assistant, and I thought to myself, that'd be really nice, I would really enjoy working there. It was a beautiful branch. I love Liberty things, I can sew, yeah, I could do that job and would get me out of the carpet thing until I find something else. Well, I actually ended up staying at Liberty for 10 years. So I started off at the branch in Kingston, and I very quickly moved on, and I became they also had a branch in Richmond upon Thames. So I transferred to the Richmond upon Thames branch, and I was the assistant manager there for a short time. And then I moved to the Regent Street store. This all happened quite early on. I moved quite quickly from Kingston to Richmond and then up to Regent Street. And so I started off in Regent Street as what was called at the time a senior sales assistant in the silk fabric department. So I worked back then the second floor, the entire second floor of the Great Marlborough Street. I'm talking a long time ago. So back then, Liberty was the Great Marlborough Street building as it is now, but it also had shop floor space premises on Regent Street. There was a main entrance on Regent Street as well, and the buildings were connected with a bridge. The entire second floor of the Great Marlborough Street building was fabrics, of which the middle bit was the silk fabric department, and I worked there for a while. And then there was a job advertised to be the assistant buyer for the furniture and antiques department, which was the top floor, the fourth floor. And I thought, that's right up my alley. I'll apply for that. So I applied for it, and I was thinking about this after this question came up actually. I had so many interviews for that job. I was interviewed by all sorts of people, and even by one of the Liberty Brothers himself interviewed me for that job, and I got it. So I became the assistant buyer for furniture and for antiques. So I learnt a lot about that particular era of antiques. I learnt a lot about Liberty furniture from the past, working with the buyer that I worked with then, and also about furniture in general, because the lady that I worked for was also the furniture buyer. So I did a lot of buying sofas and chairs and dining tables and armchairs and footstools and mirrors, and we were connected also a little bit to they had an interior design service there, and at one point our office was next to the interior design department. I don't think they still do that anymore, but it was quite a big department actually, the interior design department. And also obviously linked with the furnishing fabric department, because we were using the fabrics to recover both antique furniture that we would buy in and recover, but also new sofas that we would cover. So I did that for a while, and then that buyer left, and I mean I didn't feel that I could take on the role that she'd had, but I could do the antiques because that's where my background was. So I was given the antiques department, so I became the antiques buyer, and the antiques department became like a sole buyership, and so I became the antiques buyer, and I did that on my own for maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe 3-4 years, something like that. And then I had Isabel. So that's how it came about. Yeah, in the right place at the right time. But I did have the experience. I did, I had dealt with antiques. So yeah, that's how it happened. All in all, I moved around. I was in the branches before I was in the main building. And I worked in a few different departments. Well, mainly I suppose just the fabric department, which ties in with the sewing, and still got friends actually that I made working in the fabric department there. And then the longest stint was really with the furniture department, either as an assistant buyer or as the buyer for antiques. That's how that happened. So that's the answer to that question. Thank you very much for asking, and thank you very much for joining me. 2 hours and 7 minutes, but it has been 5 weeks, so I don't feel quite so bad, and so many of you say that you like a long episode anyway, so there we go. 3 weeks time I'll be back with my quilting episode, and I'll have some things to show you, and I will have started Roz's stitch quilt by then, so I can talk a bit more about that too. Thanks very much everybody, enjoy your days, and see you in about 3 weeks time. Bye.